Good afternoon, good evening, everybody. How's everybody doing tonight? Little SU Football Weekly on a Thursday night. Thank you guys for joining us. This is SU Football Weekly with head coach Joe Austin. I'm Rob Hipp, your host. As the Pirates coming off of a loss versus East Texas Baptist University at home, 23-49 this past Saturday in Georgetown. Southwestern 4-4 overall, now 3-4 in the American Southwest Conference. Southwestern led at the halftime 16-14, but were outscored 35-7 in the second half. Coach, it's always good to have you here tonight. Always a fun time. So good to have you.
Great to be here.
I'll start with that. Just saying, hey, good to have you here tonight, Coach.
It's great to have a mic. Hello.
There you go, Coach.
It's great to have a microphone. Thank you. Got one of my best friends here, Mr. Roger Velasco.
Welcome, Roger. Welcome, Roger. Thank you for being here, Roger. See, if you show up as a guest, you get announced, so that's the way it goes. And Roger Chappell is here for the second week in a row. Let's give it up for Roger. Welcome back, Roger.
Not quite 30 in a row, but we got to start somewhere.
Well, Coach,
back to 2.
That's right. Good to have you guys back, and thanks to all the guests that are here as well. Well, Coach, of course, a tough loss this past Saturday here at home. But really, pulling out some positive things. That first half, 16-14, had to be impressed with the first half. We'll start with that.
Well, as we talk about positives, the first thing I want to talk about is the effort and the determination, the grit that our guys showed and did show the whole game. For example, when we got in the second half, the very first drive, we lost Josiah Minifield, one of our final remaining seniors, captain, one of our final remaining starters. And then his backup went out, and then we got down to our third guy at that one position. But our guys kept battling, and it wasn't a great start. We got down 14-0, but our defense stuck with it, started forcing some 3-and-outs. We got a turnover on special teams, and our offense scored 3 times in a row. But we just ran out. We ran out of momentum in the second half. They were the better team. They had the best player on the field. Brian Baca, their quarterback, is perhaps the best player in our entire conference, a really good quarterback. And they got the better of us in the second half. But I'm proud of how we fought. I'm proud of how we keep coming back and are supporting each other. And I think those are things that you can really build on. And I say this every week, it doesn't make our seniors feel any better, but the number of freshmen and sophomores that we're playing, that bodes well for the reloading of things. And the season, it certainly hasn't turned out the way we thought it would be. If you remember back, we won our first 2 games 96-10, and then we started losing quarterbacks, 4 different quarterbacks in 4 weeks. We lost Austin Emery, we lost Leonard Gilpin for the season, and then the cavalcade of injuries on defense came. In practice this week, we have 2 of our original 11 starters on defense. Now, a couple more may play this weekend, but they're nowhere near 100%. So I'm not going to say they're shells of their former selves, but they're just trying to get out there just to just go off of their knowledge, right? I mean, they've played enough football to maybe be in the right place and have some savvy, but we're so depleted on defense. We're playing so many young guys, but they're sticking with it. And to be ahead of that team at halftime is a small moral victory. And, of course, we ran out of steam. We didn't do as well in the second half. But we're going to come back and we're going to keep fighting this week.
Coach, and we've talked about it for so many weeks, we won't dig into it anymore, but, injuries. And for those of you that may just be joining the stream for the first time or checking out Southwestern for the first time, that's really been the story this season are the injuries. And, Southwestern able to work through some of those. It was good to see this. We didn't know until the start of the game, so it was a surprise for us, but it was a good surprise. Austin Emery returned for the first time since the season opener. He did throw 3 interceptions, however, but it was good to see him back. Coach, how important is it to have him back and starting?
It was almost a surprise to everyone. He got cleared at 3:30 p.m. on Friday, and we threw him out there on Saturday. Now, of course, he'd been working his way back in, and he'd practiced some, but we went into the week with both Coleman Kerr and Austin Emery preparing as if they were going to start that game. And it looked as if Austin might get cleared, but we didn't know. He had to go get a bone scan and an MRI, and his surgeon had to clear him, and our doctors had to all clear him. And, of course, that didn't happen until after our last practice on Friday. He came out and did a really great job in the running game. And Austin Emery has played in 1.5 games. In the first half against Sewanee, so long ago, I can't remember. First half against Sewanee, he ran for 90 yards. He came out in this game, ran for 110. So he's played in a game and a half, and he's averaging 100 yards a game. Now, that's Fred Hover territory. That means he's moving the offense. He's getting us going where we want to go. And we rushed for 250 yards last week, which is very good. About where we normally are. We're a 250 to 350-yard team most of the time. What we didn't do well is we were inefficient in our pass game. We completed 5 out of 12 in the first half. 2 great throws. He completed a 4th and 6 pass to David Brandenburg. He also completed a touchdown late in the second half to David Brandenburg. But we're 0 for 8 in the second half. We were not efficient at all. And he did throw 3 interceptions, but 2 of them were at the very end where we had to throw. And we're not a you have to throw team. We're a play action team. We force people to cover the run, and then we create big plays in our play action passing game. At the end of the fourth quarter, we're in a situation where we had to throw, and that's not to our advantage. We don't drop back pass protect. We don't flood routes. We run man-to-man routes basically against single coverage. So I think he did well in the run game. He definitely has to do a lot better in our passing game. We got to be a lot more efficient. But it was great to have him out there. Just talking to our defensive coaches, Coach Kriesel up in the press box, coaching our defense. After the game, he said, I know our passing game didn't go well, but it looked like our offense. You could see the shell of what we want to be. Our triple option game was very strong. Austin made some great checks. You're going to have Eli Smith on in a few minutes. He checked to a speed option play where he got the ball to Eli Smith for a 45-yard touchdown run. So a lot of the things that we're used to doing and the things our quarterbacks are called upon to do, I think Austin did a good job. I think the rust will be gone. But also in our back pocket now, Coleman Kerr's played a lot of football. He's played in 5, 6, 7 games. And, if it's Austin breaks off a 20-yard run and he's come out for a play, cool. Coleman's going to go in and stay in for however long we want him to stay in. He did come in when Austin's helmet got knocked off and stayed in for 2, 3, 4 plays and did a really good job. So we are building some great depth at our quarterback position. And long term, beyond just these 2 games this season, that's going to be a really important thing for our team.
Coach, just kind of a final statement here before we break into our interviews with the players. East Texas Baptist, it's just been one of those teams. We talk about UMHB a lot, of course, but East Texas Baptist, it's been one of those teams since the reinstatement that it's always been a very tough team. And, of course, now 0-7 versus that school. What'd you tell the guys after this game and just really, talk about the toughness of East Texas? It's been one of those, I keep saying it, but one of those teams.
Well, they were beatable this year. Our guys know it. I mean, some of the disappointment of the season is if we were fully loaded, there's a lot of teams that I feel very confident that we would have beaten. And take nothing away from those guys. They're not what they used to be. We played them for 4 or 5 straight years where they had an NFL prospect. They kept sending guys to NFL training camps. They don't have those guys this year. They're a normal Division III football team. They're still good, don't get me wrong. But they're a team that I think we could have handled. Our defense did a great job in the second quarter. But just overall, what needed to happen was our offense needed to match them score for score because Brian Baca, their quarterback, was the best player on the field, and we couldn't match them score for score. We ran out of our momentum on the offense. But our defense hung in there and did everything that they could. And so it's a team effort that it may sound weird to say, but it's a team effort that I can be proud of and I think the players should be proud of. A lot of guys are out there before their time. Football players need to be seasoned and marinated, right? You need to leave them in that bag and put them in the fridge and let the happiness get all in there. And a lot of the guys haven't quite had the marination period that they would like to have, but they're fighting hard. We've had another good week of practice, and we'll talk about that at the end. But our guys have not been deterred. And early in the season, it could have gone either way. We won, those first 2 games, whatever it was, 97-10 or 96-10, and then we came back. And the injuries started to mount up. We lost Ben Brockman against TLU. We lost other guys against TLU, and we lost the game. And our team, in my opinion, kind of hovered of are we going to implode or are we going to stick together? And we found ways to stick together. We've stayed at 500 or better. And we'll talk about how we're going to try to do that again this week, I guess, to foreshadow to get folks to stick around. But I think our team has really hung together well. And I think the camaraderie and the way to be resilient amidst adversity, I think, will carry these guys through the football season. But it's a good life lesson. We talked to him this week a couple times. I've talked to him about there are bigger travesties in life than having a 4-4 football team. We didn't expect to be 4-4. When the season started and we got off, we thought we would be much better. There's things that are going to happen in your life that are worse than playing a game with 2 of your 11 starters. There are things that are worse than having to have a different starting quarterback for 4 weeks in a row. So the way you react to adversity in your life are going to really shape who you are, and it reveals character and it shapes character. So we're going through some stuff as a football team, and I'm really proud of the way the guys are sticking together.
Well, Coach, appreciate your time in this first segment. We'll step aside here in just a few moments. We'll talk to a few players, and then we'll bring you back on for the 4th segment as we look ahead to this week. But for now, though, friends, stay with us. SU Football Weekly with Coach Joe Austin continues in just a moment. Welcome back, SU Football Weekly with Coach Joe Austin. How's everybody doing tonight? Good to have everybody here on a cold night here in Georgetown, Texas, but it is warm here in the hotel at the Sheraton. We appreciate them. I'm joined now by our junior kicker, Mr. Will Herbst. Will, good to have you on the show tonight, man.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. So we were talking a little bit before the show, of course. I got to know you a little bit last year. This is your first time, though, on the coaches show. So
it is.
Welcome, man. Let's welcome Will one more time. We'll welcome you in, Will. Majoring in business.
Yes, sir.
From Bernie, Texas, man.
Bernie,
on I-10 West.
Yes, sir.
Right outside of San Antonio.
Yes,
you know,
sir.
before we get started, talk a little bit about growing up in Bernie. And I love the community. I just wanted to say, though, the only thing that I knew about Bernie when I was growing up was there was a major mulch fire that had burned for like a year there in Bernie. And I was asking you about that, but I think it was before your time. So
yeah, I've never heard about that one.
So besides the Bernie mulch fire, tell us about growing up in that wonderful community, man.
Well, Bernie, it's all about Friday Night Lights there. It's all about football. And I enjoyed everything about it. I mean, just being able to grow up in a community where, you know, the community just loves the school, loves the spirit, and, you know, going to the homecoming parades and going to the, you know, just different events. I felt really special there, and it really built my, you know, my base of where I am today. And that's what built my passion for football, was being able to finally be able to, like, play on Fridays and wear that purple and white. So.
And, you know, being that community close to San Antonio, so I'm sure you spent a lot of time in San Antonio growing up as well, right?
I did. At first, we didn't have a movie theater in Bernie, so that was where we had to go to, you know, actually do some stuff. But then, you know, Bernie's growing now, so obviously we have a lot more activities.
And I just have to ask you, because it's so close, are you a Spurs fan, San Antonio?
I'm a Spurs fan.
There you go. Are any other Spurs fans in the house tonight? Nobody. One
It's
clap.
all right.
There we go. All right, that's fine. It's because Tim Duncan's gone, so
Yeah,
everybody,
that's
you know,
right, that's right.
bandwagon. Well, you know how it goes, man. We're still
yeah.
loyal. Well, as we continue to talk to Will Herbst, tell us a little bit about your family, man.
So I have one sibling, my brother, and he just graduated from A&M this past year. Actually, my entire family's went to A&M except for me. I was the first to kind of branch away and just kind of branch out and see for myself what, you know, the other part of the world is like, and it's nice. But, my brother, he was the kicker before me at Bernie. So my freshman year, he was the kicker his senior year. And then I kind of looked up to him, and I knew I wanted to, like, follow his steps. And he was – I think he was personally better than me. He got a preferred walk-on at Tennessee, but he wanted to go to A&M because that's where the rest of the family went. But I thought, you know, I'd branch out and see what I can do. But, yeah, I really thank my brother. He's why I am where I am today, and he taught me everything I know today, and as far as kicking goes and being a good person. So, yeah.
And, you know, it was just, if I'm not mistaken, it was just like National Brothers Week, by the way. So,
Yeah, indeed.
so, yeah. So, you know,
yeah.
send a little love to your brother, man. That's awesome.
Yes, sir.
Well, as we continue to talk to Will Herbst, you know, this season, a little bit of ups and downs here, but as Coach
Yes,
said
sir.
earlier, you never want to be at a 4-4 or where you guys are at. But, you know, you came in, you're playing through adversity, and this team has fought through some things. Tell us kind of where you've been this season and what you've really enjoyed so far this season through that adversity.
For sure. Well, you know, just putting on pads and being able to get out there is, you know, it's awesome. Because I thought that I'd never be able to play college football, and just being out there and being able to kick the ball, I mean, in front of a crowd wearing a jersey, that's awesome. And, you know, I don't even really look at I mean, obviously it's good to win. But, you know, I just love getting out there and being able to kick and, like, just being able to practice. And, also, we know what adversity's like. And, we've had it a couple seasons. I'm sure, like, when we got back to the program, it was not a bed of roses. It was always kind of rough. But, you know, we enjoy still being out there. And I'm sure the rest of the guys would agree with me when they say that, you know, we might not be having a winning season, but, you know, it's just good to be out there. So.
Last one question about last week, of course, a tough loss here at home versus East Texas. But through that first half, played well. The second half, things a little bit different. Walk us through that game.
Well, as Coach Austin was saying earlier, they have a pretty good quarterback. So there was no going about that. But I honestly thought we had it for the longest time in the first half. We had the momentum, we had everything going. But you know, there's a couple errors that'll change the momentum of the game completely. And I'll take the blame on that one. We had a kickoff that got taken back, and I thought that completely changed the momentum. But I mean, other than that, there's just a few mistakes that I think, you know, if we correct those mistakes, then I think we can definitely take them next year. Sure.
Well, of course, this year you're kicking a lot more. We're seeing
Yes,
you
sir.
out there booting field goals. And last year we saw you towards the end of the season kicking some field goals, but this season getting more of that and doing a very good job taking care of that business. But talk a little bit more about your role and how it's changed from last year to this year.
So this year I got to, take a little opportunity and be able to kick some field goals. And it's different for me for sure because in high school there's not as much pressure for sure. And being able to finally get out there and, show myself, what I can do and, being able to help the team is really awesome. But it's a little nerve-wracking at first. I'm still kind of getting comfortable with it. And I think but as the season has progressed, I've really felt comfortable with David. And, I know he's a star, so he's going to get the ball down every time. And, I've been slowly growing into it. So by next year, hoping to go perfect.
All right, man. Hey, there we go. We're going to clap right here for that, man. So you've had a good year so far this year, Will, and excited to see as you continue your collegiate career here at Southwestern. Now, I got to ask you a question real quick just before, we've got a few more here, but this one kind of off the wall. Is there any science to kicking without a shoe? Because I've seen some guys do it, and I want to ask you, of course, not in a college game, but is there any science, and have you ever done that?
I've tried it because I've seen some NFL kickers do that, back in the day, and personally I can say it hurts. I'm not a huge fan of it, and I'm not really sure if there's any science behind it, but, I personally wouldn't do it. I like a little leather between me and the ball, but, yeah.
Hey, man, you gotta keep taking care of business with your feet. We were calling a game a few years ago, and there was a guy in an alumni game. No joke, 39 degrees outside. He had his shoe off. And I said, you got to be kidding me. So
I couldn't do that.
Don't do that this weekend, man.
Yes, sir.
Well, as we continue to talk to Will Herbst, just a few more questions here. Regarding your play, where do you feel like that you can improve on, Will?
For me, it's just being more comfortable. I think being on the field and knowing that it may or may not – I think, just when you're first going to get out there, you're going to be a little nervous. And I guess just being confident in myself, knowing that it's just the same kick every time. And, just working on – trusting my snapper and my holder and just becoming better, becoming the best version of myself that I can possibly be. So that's probably my
and when did you decide you talk a lot about your brother earlier. When did you decide, you said, hey, this is what I want to do in college football is be a kicker, and even in high school? When did you make that decision? What led you to that?
So I started kicking in the fifth grade, or the fourth grade actually. So that's when I was originally a soccer player, and but I used to play a little bit of corner and a little quarterback too sometimes, and in the middle school. But I decided that once I stopped growing, that I was going to be a kicker because I was like 130 pounds, not wasn't going to be a running back or anything. So I saw some NFL kickers and the college kickers and looked at the high school kickers I looked up to, and I just thought this is something I want to do, and it's just I haven't stopped ever since, and just kind of grew towards that. So
junior this year, another year next year, where do you want to be after college? Ideal job, where do you see yourself?
So I've always had a passion for animals and for veterinary stuff, and my grandpa was a veterinarian. My father he sells pharmaceutical stuff to veterinarians, so I probably want to stay with that route, and I've already ridden with a couple guys, kind of see what they do in their daily lives, and so I'm probably going to go that route and be a pharmaceutical sales rep.
Awesome, man.
Veterinary.
What does it mean to you? We ask this every week to the players. You may have heard it on some of the other shows, but wearing that Southwestern Pirate logo, what does that mean to you to be a Southwestern University Pirate, Will?
It's everything. I mean, whenever you look down and you see that you're a Pirate, it kind of blew my mind that I'd even be able to be here in the first place. I didn't think that I'd have an opportunity to ever play for college football, and knowing that everything that they built, like the Southwestern man, that's huge. That's what we live by. It's very important. It's enough to where Coach Austin will ask us at the very end of practice if we know what the Southwestern man is. And so we continue to strive for that. But that's, when we look down at our jerseys and we see really why we're here, it's, we're here for football, obviously, but it's to become a better man too. And that's, I think the coaching staff, Coach Austin does a great job of teaching us, to be better men. So.
And you may have touched base on this, and if you want to kind of expand on it, that's fine. But at Southwestern, what have you learned from football that's outside of football that you can apply to life?
A lot of things. You'll see us we'll learn communication skills. We'll learn how to deal with others that like teammates and right here this is this is something that'll help me with my life. Just being able to talk and just get better relationships, being able to grow as a person, and as kicker, I will be able to. I mean, if I'm doing a presentation in front of somebody, it's not going to be anything compared to kicking a game-winning field goal or so. I'd say that.
Awesome, man. Well, Will Cameron right here in front of you tonight. Who do you want to say hello to from Georgetown, Texas, man?
Well, I have a few guys. I have my kicking guys back at home, Luke, Phil, and Vic. I mean, I wouldn't be here without y'all. Y'all keep me having fun in football, and I just love y'all guys. Also, my brother, my mom, and my dad. Just want to thank y'all. For my parents, I've gone to countless number of kicking camps, and just want to thank y'all for that. And they've driven me everywhere. My brother's been teaching me, so I just want to thank them.
And a quick off-the-wall question I just thought of that I've never asked before. You're going to find this video in 10 years on YouTube. What do you want to tell yourself in 10 years right now?
Ooh. I mean, that's a hard one.
That's why I threw it at you.
Well, I hope if I ever get a game-winning chance, I hope I make that field goal. And I hope that, I've grown from this moment to where 10 years from now that, I'm just a better person. So, yeah.
Awesome, man. We'll follow you on Twitter. We'll retweet it in 10 years, man. So
Sounds good.
Good luck. Good to have Will Herbst. Let's give him a round of applause. Very well outspoken young man. Congratulations. Looking forward to the remainder of the season. Stay with us, friends. We have another interview coming up. SU Football Weekly with Coach Joe Austin continues in just a few moments. Welcome back, SU Football Weekly with Coach Joe Austin. I am now joined by Eli Smith, junior running back. Eli, good to have you tonight. Let's give him a round of applause first, man. Break the ice. I say I got to break the ice, and tonight it's almost literally breaking the ice. It's cold, man.
Oh, yeah.
You keep them warm today?
Look, I'm wearing a jacket.
Awesome. I like that hoodie, though, by the way, man. Can we buy those at the Southwestern bookstore, do you know?
I don't know about this one exactly, but maybe from the Nike store you can.
Okay, all right. Well, I had to ask. I saw it, man. Well, hey, second team all-conference award back in 2018. Congratulations on that.
Appreciate you.
As Southwestern, of course, prides herself on the athletics, and you guys, or academics, you guys do such a wonderful job on that. From Wiley, Texas, Wiley High School.
Yes, sir.
I don't know if I've interviewed anybody yet from Wiley. Tell us about Wiley, man, and growing up and playing football there.
Well, Wiley is a small town. Wiley's not much to do there, really, but, playing football is very special over there. Growing up, Wiley has been my home. Wiley was, where I started football, and, it's been my home. I just love, Wiley and, playing football at Wiley High School is very passionate. You grow to have a very passionate mind because the coaches, teach you how to be a man. It's much like Coach Austin, his ways here. It's how to be a man, how to go through life, and they teach you life skills. It's much like Coach Austin is what I say. It's very, very much like home. When
you were growing up, when did you realize, man, I want to play football? And how did you decide that running back was the position for you?
Running back, I started off as a cornerback when I was younger. And corner was all right, but I knew that I wanted to touch the ball. I played running back too, so like when I would actually touch the ball and run the ball, I had a passion for that. I had a passion for scoring. I had a passion for running and juking defenders and like chucking defenders. It's very fun, and being a running back and watching NFL games, watching college games, looking up to who's my Marion Barber. That's the reason I'm 24. Looking up to that guy, being a Dallas Cowboys fan. very special to me, and I love being a running back because of that reason.
Man, when you said a Cowboys fan, you just I got perked up. So I'm really going to enjoy chatting with you now. I already enjoyed it now even more. Any other Cowboy fans in the house? Roger is the biggest Cowboys fan in front of us. Huge Dallas Cowboys fan.
I love it.
Just kidding, Roger. Well, as we continue chatting here with junior running back Eli Smith. Eli, talk a little bit about your family, man.
So I got a brother, my little brother. He just entered high school this year, actually a freshman at Wiley High School. And, I love my brother to death. That's my boy. He looks up to me, and I try to teach him everything I can when I can. I barely see him like once a week during season. So, seeing my brother is the best thing in my life right now, because seeing him go through life and going through the steps that I went through, I see a lot in him. And I try to teach him everything I can to get him prepared for life, because he's so young. And he's got so much life to live. So, I try to teach him everything I can. I got a sister too. My sister, I'm going to see her after this tonight because it's her birthday. Shout out to my sister.
There you go.
Definitely love my sister. She's taught me a lot. She's 26 years old. She's still pushing through life and teaching me things that I'd love to learn.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, you were on the team in 2017, transferred out last year, I believe over to Texas State, came back this year. Kind of talk about just being back here at Southwestern. What have you noticed? What's changed? And what's that journey been like for you?
The journey was definitely pretty difficult. Going to Texas State, I wanted to be on the football team there. I wanted to be a part of that team, but I wasn't able to actually try out for the team because of I wasn't taking enough hours in my classes, so I wasn't actually able to try out. So after that, I prayed to God and asked him, what should I do? What is my next move here? And the next day, Coach Mass texted me. He asked me, would you want to come back to play at Southwestern? And so I immediately thought, I was like, wow, that's a message from God. And I was like, I'm supposed to be here for some reason. There's definitely a reason I'm supposed to be here. So it's been a journey, and I'm glad to be here.
I'm so glad that you brought that up, too, and especially, those that may just be joining the stream or those that are checking out Southwestern or other Division III schools. There's a lot of opportunity in Division III, so talk a little bit about that, man.
There is a lot of opportunity in Division III. You get a lot of looks, but it's more about, the passion that it brings in D3. D3 football is a lot about brotherhood. It's about who wants to be there. It's about who wants to, compete, who wants to be at this level and compete with your brothers, who wants to be at the top of the top, beat UMHB and all that good stuff.
Who do you look up to on the team this year, Southwestern Pirates? Who do you look up to for guidance?
My roommate Minnie. That's my roommate right there. So, I look up to him for a lot of things. He's definitely bringing me out of my comfort zone in a lot of ways that, I would never guess, because, before this, I wasn't, a very talkative person. I'm not really a very talkative person, but, Minnie always talks to me and definitely brings a better side of me that I enjoy, and I definitely look up to him for guidance always.
That's awesome, man. 10 carries, 72 yards, a touchdown last week versus East Texas Baptist University. Tough loss. We'll only ask one question. Kind of walk us through that game. Running game was pretty good, though.
Of course. Start going up to this game, building up to this game, building up to ETBU. We were going to that week thinking, wow, we're going to beat them. We're going to have a chance at something we have never done before, because we've never beat them before. And we were going to that week thinking, yes, we definitely got the assets, we've got the skills, we've got everything we need here to beat these guys. And we definitely came with the energy, came with the intensity, but it's having those guys out on defense that's a big part, plays a big part of the game, because having those guys out, it's really hard on the team. But going through that game, I still had the same mindset at all times. I give them all every game, give them all against them, and it's tough loss, but we learn from it, build from it, go into the next week with a better mindset, better skill, and just ready to play.
Personally, where do you want to improve on?
I definitely want to improve more on my blocking. I'm not the one to go to when it comes to blocking in our offense, but I definitely want to get better at that. I'm more of the run guy, the pitch guy, the get outside and try to see what he can do to get us some yards. But I definitely want to improve in my blocking.
Coming up, game here, of course, the last home game of the season on Saturday, 1 o'clock. We'll have that game right here on SHN Sports. But the preparation heading in as you guys host Howard Payne, tell us about that preparation and what's been going through your mind this week, Eli.
Well, like I said before, it's the same. We go through preparation the same way almost every week, but we try to build better on it. It's going into practice with the mindset of we got to get better, we got to get better, we got to get better. And it's taking it day by day and definitely actually improving and seeing improvement. We bring intensity, we bring the energy, but it's also having fun while practicing. We try not to focus too much on our mess ups. You got to get out of it, get out of your slump, and definitely get to going every day.
What does it mean to you to be a Southwestern Pirate?
Southwestern Pirate it goes deeper than what you think. It's the way you walk around the school. It's the brotherhood that you share with your teammates. It's everything what Will said about being a Southwestern man. It takes a lot to be a Southwestern Pirate, but I feel it's much deeper than you think when you are actually in the shoes of a Southwestern Pirate.
It's cool because I ask that question to every player every week now, and everybody has kind of a different take on it. And it's so unique to hear that. I used to tell kids when I would speak to schools, I would say, define success. So I'll ask you, and then I'll tell you my definition of success because nobody's wrong. So if I said success, how would you define success?
I define success as just being happy with where you are, being happy in with what you do, whatever you want to do, whatever that may be, making yourself happy and, not being miserable in whatever you do. Because being happy in what you're doing and being successful, they co-align very well. Being successful for me is I want to make my parents, happy, and I want to make them. I want them to feel what I felt all my life because they've given me everything, and I want to be able to share that and give that back to them, and that's what being successful means to me.
Love that, man. Awesome. Give you a round of applause for that. And I'd ask that question to a lot of high schoolers. I would tell them my definition. It wasn't that heartfelt, so I won't even say it now. So we'll go to the next question. No, my definition was, to me, success is making and managing good decisions every day.
Of course.
And so everybody's got a different take, and so I really appreciate you, saying your take, man. That's awesome. A couple of last questions here. Where do you want to be after college? A junior as well? You got some time, but where do you envision yourself? Where do you want to be, man?
Well, I want to be. I've always had a passion for football, as you can see, but I've always wanted to stay around it. I wanted to be a coach. I've wanted to, train being a personal trainer in the weight room. Be a personal trainer, as in football wise. Train like agility work and getting kids, younger kids, better for the next level and the better for each level that they're playing in.
Awesome. Have you had a chance to do any internships, any of that kind of thing yet?
Not yet. It will be this upcoming summer that
awesome,
I will
man.
start that.
Okay, we're looking forward to that. Finally, camera right there in front of you tonight. Who do you want to send a shout-out to tonight from Georgetown, Texas, Eli?
Definitely want to send a shout-out to all my boys. If they're watching this, Minnie, and Mason. Definitely want to send a shout-out to my brother, my sister, my mom, my pops.
And then just like I did last question, what are you going to tell yourself in 10 years, man? Camera's right there. You're going to go back to this. We're going to send it out to you in 10 years. What are you going to tell yourself?
So if I'm looking at this, if I'm telling myself in 10 years, I'm going to say, I hope you're happy. I hope you're happy where you're at. I hope you're helping the kids be better. I hope you're actually where you're at. I hope you're actually doing what you want to do, and I hope that you love what you're doing. There
you go, man. That's awesome, brother. Let's give it up for Eli tonight. Appreciate you being here. Mr. Eli Smith, junior running back. Awesome interview. Thank you for being here, Eli.
Appreciate you, man.
We'll step aside and take a quick break. We'll check out what's going on around Southwestern University. Stay with us, friends. SU Football Weekly with Coach Joe Austin continues in just a few moments. Welcome back, everybody. Having a good time tonight. Thank y'all for being here. Appreciate it. As we continue, this is our segment 3 as we take a look around Southwestern University with our sports recap. In swimming, Southwestern University's Reagan Hartzell was named this week's SCAC Swimmer of the Week for her performances last week against the NCAA Division I University of Incarnate Word. Congratulations, putting D3 on notice. So congratulations there on that awesome award. Southwestern University Pirates right side hitter, and this, we're talking volleyball now, and setter Lauren Crabtree, also middle blocker Riley Brantley, were named to the SCAC All-Conference team as voted on by the conference head coaches. Congratulations to those girls on that, on an awesome award for volleyball. Southwestern finished the season 21-13, a 12-6 conference record, earning the 3rd seed in the SCAC championship tournament. The Pirates will host they'll be the host school, Texas Lutheran University, in the first round of the tournament on Friday, November the 8th at 6 p.m. Good luck to the Pirates and all those that will be in that tournament. Also in soccer, Southwestern University Pirates goalkeeper Mary Cardone, who we had on this show, I believe here just a few weeks ago talking soccer, was named the SCAC Defensive Player of the Week for the final week of the regular season. Southwestern will play the winner of Centenary and number 6 seed match on Saturday, November the 9th at 1:30. Congratulations, Mary, on that award. It's so awesome because it's like every week you hear about all of these conference awards going to so many wonderful athletes here at Southwestern. Top-ranked Trinity earned the first bye, the other side of the bracket. Of course, for more information on what's going on around Southwestern, feel free to visit southwesternpirates.com. There is a huge announcement. I'm not going to tell you this week. You got to come back next week for that announcement. And I'm sure that you guys may know what that is, but you have to come back next week for that announcement, as it will be a special guest and a special interview. So you won't get it until next week. Come in person. If you live 500 miles away, get your plane tickets now, fly in, and be here for that announcement. It's going to be pretty great. So we're excited about that as well. Let's go ahead and thank some of our sponsors as well. We couldn't do what we do here at Southwestern University without the generous support of so many folks throughout the community. Gary Brown, CPA, John F. Lewis, CPA, State Farm, Stephanie Featherstone, BBVA, First Texas Bank, R Bank, Texel Credit Union, Don Hewlett Chevrolet Buick, Antioch Georgetown Church, Grooveline Productions, Boomtown Escapes, Primerica Financial Solutions, Upstream Investment Partners, Stansky's, Georgetown Shirt Company, HEB, Family Emergency Room, St. David's Georgetown, Eagles Wings, Sheraton Austin Georgetown Hotel and Conference Center, the Georgetown Palace Theater, Chisholm Trail Pediatrics, Minuteman Press, Waterboy Graphics, Berkshire Hathaway, Roger Chappell, in for the 2nd week in a row. Good to have you, Roger. And so you see, and I always say this because you never know who's going to be watching this for the first time, but if you come to the show and you sponsor, sometimes you get your name called out. Unless you're Roger, you get your name called out every week. So it's important to be here. But we do appreciate all of our sponsors, and Roger, thanks for always letting us have a fun time up here. Georgetown Commercial Properties, Turnip Seed Real Estate Group, Chick-fil-A, Double Dave's Pizza, Mama Foo's, Mighty Fine Burgers, Fries, and Shakes, Monument Cafe, Rudy's, Schloshki's, Whataburger, CJ's Catering and CJ's Sports Bar, Wolf Ranch, Georgetown Title, Hello Georgetown Website Mojo, and the City of Georgetown. Thank you, sponsors, for all that you do here in the community, and especially for Southwestern University. We'll step aside for just a quick moment as we bring head coach Joe Austin back up. We look ahead to this week's battle versus Howard Payne. Stay with us. SU Football Weekly continues in just a few moments. Welcome back, SU Football Weekly with head coach Joe Austin of Southwestern University. As we look ahead and wrap up the show here this evening, Southwestern facing Howard Payne at 1 p.m. back here in Georgetown on Saturday. Last year, Southwestern defeated the Yellow Jackets on the road 54-17. Coach, welcome back up. Good to have you again as we discuss Howard Payne. What's the mindset heading into this ball game?
We talked about it a little bit in the first segment. We're going to give it everything that we have, and I'm not much of a sugarcoating guy, so to call it like I see it, there's a football team on our campus that could win this game by a lot of points. That football team's not playing this weekend, so we'll see how it goes. I mean, the players that came on talked about it. We have the players that we have, but we're going to give it everything we have. We've had a good focused week on practice, especially on defense, a lot of new guys. We've even moved guys from offense to defense. You can cover that in the broadcast on Saturday, kind of save a little teaser. We're not saving anything. We're going to give them everything that we have. But it is what it is. If we had all of our 11 original starters on offense and defense, we'd be in great shape. We beat this team by 70 2 years ago and by 50 last year. Now, I'm not knocking them. Forever Howard Payne fans are watching or studying. They're a very good football team. They've gotten a lot better every year. You know, they cut their margin against us by 20 points last year. Their offense is very good, and so it's a tough matchup in that we're depleted on defense and we're facing a very good offense. Two very good quarterbacks. They have three very good receivers, a good running back, a competent offensive line. So it's going to be imperative that Eli Smith and the guys on offense can score points all day. It may be a game where we have to match them score for score, not unlike last weekend where we matched ETBU for the first half, and we didn't match them well enough in the second half. And hopefully our defense can find some ways to get some stops, and forcing some turnovers would be great. But the onus is on our offense to perform. Our defense is what it is at this point. We started the season as those guys being our calling card. I mean, what a stacked lineup we had, having 10 of 11 returning starters. And, of course, how things change over the course of a football season. So we're hanging on defense. It's okay. It is okay to say that it is what it is in this case. But our offense is going to need to score and be consistent and take care of the football and have long drives and rest our defense. And if we do that, we still have a chance. But we're a very different football team than we'd hope to go into this game with.
You've had a lot of success versus Howard Payne over the years. As you said earlier, not to downplay them, but there has been tremendous success versus this team, of course, here in Georgetown this weekend. Of course, running game has been very key for Southwestern over the years. Tell us a little bit more about that and kind of segueing in, too, and maybe two questions in one here. With those injuries, a lot of these young players continuing to get some valuable playing time.
Well, running game is very key, and we talked on all the shows and folks that watched us. We had makeshift offenses for a long time. We had a makeshift defense every week. This is another makeshift defense. We're back to on offense being able to be the offense that we want, and so the same offense that scored 70 on this team 2 years ago and scored 54 on this team last year, we're going to run the same plays, and it's just up to our guys to have the same success that we had. And last year was the textbook study on our offense of how our triple option game feeds into our play action passing game. Last year against this team, we scored 4 plays in a row on 2 runs and 2 passes. We had a school record long rush play of 94 yards for a touchdown. We need to get those same things going. Our offense feeds itself, in that when teams have to take away what we're doing in the run game, it opens up our passing game. And when teams have to hang back and make sure they account for our play-action passing game, it really opens up things in our running game. And I felt we took a big step forward last week with our rushing game, getting Austin Emery back, who's a threat to be a 100-yard runner. That opens up things for Elijah Smith, who had a good game. Eli had a great 4th and 5 run for 6 yards. I mean, we're heading in the right direction with things, and there's still 2 games left, so it's not a lost cause by any means. We talked in the first segment about needing to be more efficient in our pass game, and I think that will be a key.
Coach, weather, of course, today hasn't been very nice, but the rest of the week and previously not too bad. Today we'll have this cold rain tomorrow, and then things should clear up on Saturday. With that being said, how have practices been this week?
We are in quite the weather pattern in that every Thursday it rains. Every Friday for practice it's really cold, and it's pretty nice on Saturday. It's been a really interesting season that's been the pattern. Our practices have been I guess somewhere between fine and good. I mean, we're fine is that we're going out and getting our work done. Good is that we haven't lost our spirit. This week I think our guys understand the situation, and so that takes a little bit of the excitement out of it. We understand that we're kind of hanging on by a thread. If we lose any one guy on defense, we have to change mid-game our whole structure of our defense, which will be hard. But I think our guys understand that if we can play well and if we can have some success on defense, then we have a chance. But again, it comes back to the fact that our offense has to carry the weight now. We came into the season challenging our defense to be the team that can carry the team, and of course it did through the early part of the season. And now it's flipped, and that's what a team is, and that's what a family is. Sometimes one member or one group carries it, and then sometimes things happen and another group has to carry it. So the ball is firmly in the court of our offense to make sure that they can carry the weight and bail out our defense. Again, we practiced all week with 2 of our original 11 starters. That's a tough road to hoe, and in some places we're not having the second group in. Some places we're third and fourth group. A lot of guys that played half the season on our scout team defense are starting. And so it's a great opportunity for them, but it's also a pretty big challenge.
Well, Coach, we're very excited. Looking forward to the game on Saturday. Of course, we'll have it right here on SHN Sports. Kickoff at 1 p.m. Brad Tillery will be back on that call around 12:45 or so as we get the pregame started. You know, talking about carrying the weight, there's a big deal going on at Whataburger right now tonight. And, you know, I don't carry weight very well because I like to eat a lot of Whataburger and I don't work out afterwards. So tell us about that event that's going on, Coach.
Yeah, it's what a night. So if you're in Georgetown, if you can get here, you can't get on the airplane and make it by now. But until 8 o'clock, so you got about an hour. They're having a fundraising night for us. 20% of their proceeds, 20% of their sales, I should say, will go to the Southwestern football team tonight. I'm sure a ton of our guys have already rolled through. It's usually they call it Thick Man Thursday. You've heard TJ and Charles and who else said Jacob Weebelhaus have all come on and talked about how when they come on the show and we're holding them up from getting to Whataburger. You know, we got to get this thing going. So we're heading over there. My family's heading over there to buy some shakes and some fries and things I don't need, right? But we're going to do that because 20% of that's going to go back to the football team.
Well, Coach, of course, tonight you'll notice the absence of Dr. Monk. Glenn also not here as well. There's some staff. Dr. Benavides, thank you for being here as well. But, you know, there's some staff. Yeah, we'll give him a round of applause. Thank you for being here tonight. He's been here every show, I believe, almost. So thank you and your wife for being here. Yeah, got Roger beat. So, but the reason I said that is because of men's basketball tonight playing at TCU, a little Division I action going on. That's pretty exciting.
That's pretty cool. We got a scrimmage, a preseason exhibition game, and so our men are up playing TCU, and the administration's up there enjoying that night, and hopefully our guys do really well. They were just picked to repeat as conference champions in men's basketball, so we're all rooting for those guys.
Awesome, man. Let's give them a round of applause for that. Very excited. Well, Coach, as always, appreciate your accessibility. You know, I always say that when you have such a good relationship with the coach and the way that you have the relationship, and I'm talking about the community at large, it just trickles down from the top. And so very important what you do and the community involvement. It goes such a far way, and it's not just with you, Coach, of course, but the entire Southwestern community, the staff, means a lot to us, especially here at SHN. So thank you for your accessibility. It makes my job easy. I just ask a question and you answer, and it makes it easy.
I just make it up as I go.
Well, appreciate it, Coach. Well, again, catch the game right here on SHN Sports, 1 o'clock on Saturday. Looking forward to that one. One final time, Brad Tillery will be on that call. For Mickey Holden helping with camera, Nathan Height, I'm Rob Hitt, reminding you tonight, friends, we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We need each other. Provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Somebody out there needs you tonight. Good night, and God bless from Georgetown, Texas.
Hi, Mom.
We'll see you next time.